So before I can give an overall conclusion, I just want to touch on some of the extras that you might be inclined to pay Britz for. As a general rule, it's not worth paying them for extras because you can generally buy the item in question for the price of the what they'll charge you. Cheekily, actually, this is a camping table that is offered as an extra. I negotiated that in for free, as you should do too. But what Britz don't tell you is actually you don't need to pay for the extra for the camping table, because one is included with the van. That's this one here, and the way this one works is it just you lift it out of there and it slides into this slot here and gives you a platform outside. You don't need to pay, if you were thinking about it, for the extra one, because this is big and heavy and not actually really very appropriate for this van. The only advantage of having it is that you can set up your table away from the van, so you wouldn't need to have it plugged in or connected here. You're free to have it further away from the van. These are the camping chairs. We had two of those. Again, I negotiated those in for free. I can't remember what the rental price is, but you can buy them everywhere in Australia for about $10 each, whereas I think they'll probably try and charge you $20 to hire them. Again, another Britz scam. What else? We've talked about the LPG refill on the gas for your cooking. That's $18, which they claim is a discount, but what they don't tell you is that's an overinflated price to start with. That's not worth it. The tank in this that they've given us is 2 kilograms. I reckon you could refill that privately for less than $10. I don't know exactly. I'm basing this on refilling a 4.5 a few years ago, which cost I think it was under $15. So the LPG refill is a scam, as is the fuel refill. I think for $70 you can return the fuel tank empty. It doesn't cost $70 to fill up the tank in this vehicle. I'm not sure what else to say. The insurance, which will be offered and possibly put on some pressure to take out, is, you've kind of got to reach your own conclusion on it. It's a scam. It's overpriced. You're kind of, you know, feel obliged to take it unwillingly, because the consequences of not having it, should something happen, are unpleasant. If you've put down a $7,500 deposit, they'll certainly, I imagine, take their, they're going to be no rush to resolve it, and the cost of any repairs probably won't be the cheapest ones in town. So, at least if you've got the insurance as we took, you don't have to worry about that. But it is a rip-off. But yeah, there's not really much you can do about it, as far as I can tell. Yeah, that's all I can really say. The other thing I've just mentioned, so both of the camp chairs and stuff are things that you would get for free. You wouldn't have to negotiate those in typically with Travelers Autobarn, or the other budget operators, I don't think. So again, it's another thing where the budget operators are actually providing a better service than the big boys. Anyway, I'll next up will be my overall conclusion and thoughts as to the Britz experience. I've just come back into the cabin just to give you my overall feelings about the Britz experience, knowing that we've got another hire in about a week's time out of Melbourne. Definitely could be better. There's no good reason actually it isn't better. The things that are problematic are not things particularly related to the van. It's a little bit of thought, bit more thought going into the living equipment, and just someone at the branch thinking, actually, someone's got to live in this van for a few weeks at a time, and particularly if you're coming in from abroad, as we were, you don't want to have to be buying things like saucepans and bedding and things. That's basic stuff that should be provided. In relation to the pre-sales experience with Britz, that was good actually. That was the guy I was speaking to, definitely had a rapport with him, unlike some of the other operators who were very matter of fact, and they weren't prepared to budge on their price at all. But I found him to be responsive and professional, knew his stuff. Company was relatively easy to communicate with. There was one or two issues when it actually came to giving them the making payment. I think partly because I couldn't speak to the person I was dealing with, and he had arranged the overall package comprised of quite a few discounts and deals, which when I called to pay, the person at the end of the phone wasn't able to process. But it was dealt with relatively painlessly. Salesperson inspired confidence. They negotiated, which is important. They appear to have respected my marketing preferences. That bothers me if someone starts spamming me or sending me crap. I didn't feel under pressure, but that's possibly because I was quite open to the insurance, I think, from the outset. I don't agree with it. I don't really want it. But you're kind of, they've all got ways of luring you into taking it. And I think actually the only one that stands out as not doing that is Campervan, again, one of the backpacker options. There are hidden fees, the credit card charges, but that's kind of normal for Australia, to be honest. Pre-sales 9 out of 10, I'd say, pretty good. Pickup, well, we weren't initially kept waiting long in branch, but actually, as I said, I rejected the first van just because it was such terrible quality. The person I was dealing with didn't strike me as being particularly professional. There were unexpected charges. Again, we weren't put under any pressure to buy extra insurance products or anything. That's largely because I think we had the main one, we had the liability 2 option already. And I guess that's the thing they would tend to push you towards, so I can't really comment on that, having been sort of predisposed to taking it. The vehicle induction was probably one of the worst I've ever had to go through. So that's where the salesperson, not the salesperson, the pickup agent or whoever you're talking to, just gives you an overview of the vehicle, shows you how to set the table up and stuff. Brits do this by giving you a DVD, a portable DVD player, and it's the most patronising thing I've ever had to sit through. It's of the level of sort of, remember to drive on the left in Australia. It's got next to no useful information in it. That was really patronising. It would be better to just have a human just show you. It was rubbish. It's difficult for me to comment really on the pickup process because, as I say, initially the van they tried to give us was terrible. It wasn't presented well. It was held together with rusty nails. I'll see if I can. I got some pictures actually of what they tried to give us. It wasn't adequately clean. But after kicking up a fuss about this, about 2 hours later, they had this one ready. And this one, well, I guess they put a bit of extra effort into making sure it was clean and presentable. So it's difficult to comment on that. But yeah, they certainly took their time to resolve it. So pickup, I'm not impressed with the Brits pickup experience. So I would give them 1 out of 10 for that, to be honest. Pressure sales, can't really comment on that. Cleanliness, this van, inside and out, exterior was probably 7 out of 10, I would say. Interior 7 out of 10 probably. Fridge is a little bit grotty, but not really. You have to look for the muck in it. Integral equipment, you get a sat nav, which I wasn't expecting. That's pretty good. A couple of extra points on that, Brits. The microwave and the fridge are both working, good condition. I'll give you 8 out of 10 for the integral equipment. That's basically, by integral I mean stuff that's bolted into the van, can't be removed. Bedding, we've talked about bedding. It was really below par. In my opinion, it should be equivalent to hotel standards. 2 out of 10 for that. And kitchen equipment, again, not good. It was clean, but wear and tear and selection poor. 1 out of 10. Auxiliary equipment, so the gas bottle I'm thinking about, 1 out of 10. Safety equipment, yeah, you got a smoke alarm and stuff, maybe 8 out of 10. And there's a fire extinguisher too, didn't show you that. Wear and tear overall, I'd probably say 7 out of 10. explicitly the fly screens are in good shape. 9 out of 10 for that. Provided information, 2 out of 10. It was just patronising. Mechanical fitness overall, I'd say it seems quite good. The windscreen wipers don't work, actually, they're pretty useless. Tyres have got enough tread, more would be better, but I'm not a mechanic, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, it seems okay. In conclusion then, I don't believe anyone at Britz goes on holiday in their vans. Don't assume you're going to get obvious necessities. You won't. You'll get exactly what's stated on the website, nothing more, no matter how simple or inexpensive it would have been to include. This means you'll probably find yourself spending out on extras like pillows that are actually comfortable and cleaning items. You don't even get a cleaning cloth. I should have mentioned that. There's nothing to clean the surfaces, nothing to wash the dishes up. Certainly, even with the backpacker options, they give you washing up liquid. They give you a washing up cloth. They even give you some tea bags, some sugar, and you know, just basic stuff, you know. Which is, you know, if nothing else, it shows a level of thought has gone into it. You won't get that with Britz, not on their high tops anyway. Yeah, really, Britz, you've got to up game on that, because the backpacker market are killing you. Similarly, a 2 kilogram gas bottle is ridiculous. I've hired this van from other people. It's always had a 4 or 4.5 kilogram bottle, and as I say, the only reason I can think Britz are doing this is so they can make more profit on the already overpriced LPG refills. Poor equipment and presentation gives rise to the feeling that no one really cares beyond taking your money. The overall conclusion from this hire is that there's no attention to detail or quality control going on at Britz. Of course, these issues could be limited to the Perth branch, where perhaps they have a lax attitude to quality. I'll be hiring the same vehicle out of Melbourne in a week, so we'll see how that compares. But as it stands at the moment, would I hire from Britz again? I think I would be inclined to try Apollo. I mean, that might turn out to be an equally, you know, might not prove to be a good idea. But I was expecting more from Britz, I have to say. The van itself, structurally and everything, is fine. It's just the details where Britz really let themselves down. And it wouldn't, we're not talking about big things, we're talking about small things, obvious things. You know, Brits seem to forget that these are people going on holidays, you know. They don't really, you know, well, I just find it baffling that the lack of thought that seems to go into the living equipment, and you know, they're prepared to give you such shoddy things, clearly worn, clearly inappropriate, clearly just really penny pinching, to be honest, when they're making so much money out of me, out of you. I think I can't remember the total price I'm paying for both hires. It's a lot of money, and you would just expect a higher level. Well, I would expect a higher level. It's not really any better than in terms of, yeah, the van is newer and it's got some nice little tweaks on it, but I can't see, in terms of the quality of the provided equipment, I think it's worse than the backpackers. And my only, as I say, I keep mentioning them, but it's my only experience of the backpacker market is Travellers Autobahn. I've had 2 vans with them, and both of those, well, they had a few other issues, but the living equipment and stuff, just more thought had gone into it. So Brits, you haven't got, they're not major problems you've got, but they're just, you know, it's kind of embarrassing really that, you know, you haven't, you know, you're on the back foot on that. Anyway, as I say, another hire out of Melbourne in a week or so. We'll see how that compares with this one.